Today we're going to talk about the law of diminishing returns. So the official definition of diminishing returns is the decrease in marginal output of a production process as the amount of a single factor of production is incrementally increased, holding all other factors of production equal. In other words, its output increases slower and slower as one input out of all the inputs is increased more and more. For example, you can think of a coffee shop, and you can you can imagine yourself as the manager of the coffee shop, and you're hiring employees to work and make coffee for the customers. And if you hire, say if you start from one employee, this employee is gonna make a certain amount of coffee per day. And if you hire another employee, two employees is likely to be better than one because they can work together well and they can produce a lot more coffee per day. So, say if you have only one employee, you can produce 100 cups of coffee per day. But if you have two employees, you can produce, up to 300 cups of coffee per day. So that's 150 cups of coffee per customer instead of 100 cups of coffee per customer. And you can keep adding employees by hiring more and more. So you can hire three in total, and maybe you can even increase your output per employee even more. You can get to 600 cups of coffee per day with three employees. So that's 200 cups of coffee per employee. And at a certain point, which we will learn about later, you're if you hire too many employees, they're gonna start to crowd out this coffee shop, and there's gonna be too many of these employees out there, and the efficiency is going to start to drop because there are too many employees, and there are too many hands, and we don't need that many hands in a single coffee shop. So if you have four employees, you might have only 500 cups of coffee per day um, because people are inefficient once you put too many of them in the same place. And if you keep increasing the amount of employees, your output is going to keep dropping, and that's not good for your company's business. All right, let's look at a graph of the point of diminishing returns. So for the first part of this graph, you can see that the output, the return here is basically the output. And if we refer this to the last image, this is basically the production of coffee in the coffee shop. So from this first section, you can see that the output of is increasing at an increasing rate. And so you can say that the coffee from the coffee shop was increasing at an increasing rate because of the increasing in employees hired from 1 to 3. And once you get to the second section, you can see that hiring more employees is still going to increase the output of coffee. However, it is increasing at a decreasing rate because the people are starting to get crowded, and there's not enough space in a coffee shop. So output is still increasing, but it is not increasing as much as before, and it's increasing at a decreasing rate. So you're increasing less and less. And when we get to the third section, you can see the output is actually dropping. So if you hire more employees, then the output is going to drop instead of increase. So you're both paying money to the employees to work for you, and you're losing money from the lower returns, lower output that you're getting from the increase of employees. Okay, so some questions to think about. Why is diminishing returns so useful for businesses? Well, most businesses uses these 2 points, the point of maximum yields and the point of diminishing returns. They use these to decide how many employees to hire for their company to reach the most amount of revenue that they can get. And they use that to find out how many employees is the most optimal, and what's the maximum amount of money they can make. Okay. And this question's for you. You can just answer this yourself. Can you identify some other examples where the law of diminishing returns can be applied. Okay, thank you guys for listening.